Okay, welcome back. Marisha's going to ask the next part of the question as we go on.
If a blue ball is drawn, what is the posterior probability that the urn is of type 1?
Okay, so now what we want to know is the probability that we run a type 1 urn given that a blue was drawn from the urn that was drawn from the room. Okay, now this is going to be a straightforward application of Bayes' theorem where that a type 1 urn was drawn stands for P, and the blue ball was drawn stands for the evidence of Q. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to simply do the following. We're going to plug this into Bayes' theorem. The probability of type 1 given that a blue ball was drawn is going to equal the prior probability of type 1 times the probability that a blue ball was drawn given that we drew from a type 1 urn. All of that over the probability that we drew from type 1 times the probability that we drew blue given that we drew from type 1 plus the probability that we drew from not type 1, that is type 2, times the probability that a blue was drawn given that we drew from type 2. Now I'm going to stand back so you can inspect what I've done here. All I've done is apply Bayes' theorem where instead of the P's and the Q's, I have put in the appropriate value given what we want to know. We want to know that if we remember, we pulled one of those urns out of the 1,000 urns in the room, and we pulled a ball out of it, and we just so happened to pull a blue ball out of that urn. What we want to know now is what is the probability we should assign to the statement we drew a type 1 urn given that we drew a blue ball out of that urn. So the P in this case is that we drew a type 1 urn. The Q in this case is that we drew a blue ball. And so all I've done is plug those values in using Bayes' theorem where T1 stands for P, Q stands for blue ball, B, blue ball stands for Q, and T2 stands for not P, because that would be the probability of not drawing a type 1 urn. That would be drawing a type 2 urn. So now